Welcome to my channel. My name is Denise and this is my 2020 bullet journal setup video. This is my bullet journal. These are my post-it notes. I'm going to remove those because we don't need those right now. We'll need them later. But this is the Lordstrom 1917 bullet journal. I really liked it. I like this little strap thing and the 2 tassel bookmark that it comes with. I like that it's really stretchy and that these are multicolored. I really love that gray gold. And then I also, just a few essentials you'll need is like an eraser, the little bitty ruler, and about a pencil, and that's pretty much it. Also, I really love that sticker. This is my key, you see? See? Get it? Key, see? Alright, I will remove myself from this video. I'm sorry. But yeah, no. A key is pretty self-explanatory. Really, the only ones I didn't end up using was those last 4. So I'm going to actually take this pencil that I have next to me, and I'm going to mark out those because I just never use those. Sometimes you add keys in there and you end up not using them. I also really love that sticker. It says think and be happy. I add a bunch of other stickers around it. Added my name, the year 2019. And I'm gonna just add this year to it. It's 2020. Yeah, that's the year. So yep, moving on. We got my empty index. I never use this page, so there. And so now I'm just picking up some scrapbook papers that I've cut to size, and I really am not artistic at all, so I typically like to add scrapbook pieces into my bullet journal just to like jazz it up, because if you're like me and you have no artistic ability, this is a great way to make your bullet journal look a little bit more visually appealing without actually having to have any real talent. So I'm just taking my glue brush. I will link everything I use down below, and I'm just smoothing out those edges. And now I chose this quote. I love it. It says, "A life lived in love will never be dull." I thought that that was a really beautiful quote. I also really love the colors of it. I thought it matched that little writing tab really well. So I'm just taking my marker and marking off where I want it to be. I used that page to swatch because I knew I was going to add a quote there, and so I knew it would be covered up. So now I'm just taking this marker, this beautiful green like foresty color, and I'm going to make a little border around it. I think that the markers are a really easy way to add color into your bullet journal. They don't bleed through. These are the Crayola washable markers. I'm probably butchering that completely wrong, but I'll link them again down below. And I'm just now taking it, I've filled in those gaps, and now I'm taking some tape because that glue is just not holding that down. And I'm going to take this other glue. I'm trying to use a different glue. The one I used before was Mod Podge. This one is kind of like an Elmer's glue. And so I'm just going to glue down that piece, and it fits perfectly. I really like the way that this page turned out. I thought it was really beautiful. And so now I'm taking my pencil and I'm marking off where I want to put the year 2020 on there. I wanted to make it almost like a love letter to myself. This bullet journal is kind of like a letter to myself to look back on, to see kind of how I've gone and grown in the last year, and I think it would be really nice to look back on. So I'm taking this Tombow Furanoke brush pen, and I'm just writing a letter, loosely I say that to myself. Now I'm just taking this eraser and erasing off those pencil marks, and yeah, we're done. So now this is my future log. I was really thirsty right there, so I took a drink. This is my future log. I skipped the year at a glance because I don't end up using it, and this just works better for me. So as you can see, I've pre-cut out mini calendars, and I'm just gonna glue them in because I refuse to write out the dates. I am lazy and it's not for me. So I'm gonna take that same brush pen, and I'm like marking off where I want those dividers to be. I also love starting to like doing a rough draft of my log in pencil so that I can kind of outline everything, my pages, and see where they go. Also, let's count the seconds it takes me to notice that I did not cross that T in future. I see that. So now I'm just taking this beautiful blush pink, and I'm just writing off the dates along with that same green marker and making a little line underneath it to divide it. If you want the calendars that I'm using, you can just do like I did and Google mini calendars and just print it out, cut them up, and yeah, honestly, they fit perfectly in here. I didn't need to do any resizing. But yeah, I've marked off the different dates so that I'm using the correct calendar, and I'm just going to take the same Elmer glue and put them all in there. At first I tried to put them on the back of them, but it just became so much easier just to like put it on the paper itself and then just stick to it. But yeah, I think it turned out really well. I also don't put the dates down there, all the dates that I'm going to use, because I'm not busy that much like every single month of every single day. So I'm just going to mark the days that I'm actually used as I need them. And I think that that's a really great way to not feel overwhelmed, like you have to fill out every single day. And I think that's another reason people don't stick with bullet journaling, because it can be really difficult to feel like you have to be busy all the time to fill in every single day and be super productive, when in reality the bullet journal is all about customizing it to your life. So that's another thing that I really love about it. So I'm just filling out some of the dates that I'm going to be busiest, and then I just doing the same thing for the remaining 6 months of the year, speeding through this because we've seen it, and you can pause it if you so choose. So this page is my books to reads page. I really love the way that this page turned out. I'm a big reader, so this is a 2-page spread. It may seem like a lot of books, but for somebody like me who reads almost a book a day, this can be not enough space. So I'm taking that same green marker and writing books to read up top and really crappy cursive. So now I'm just adding some stickers here, figuring out how to make it look prettier. I'm not going to fill in every single book, like draw them, outline them here in this video, just because I want to fill them up with colors when I need them and as I go. So I want to make it really colorful spread. So I'm not going to outline them everything in black. But here I'm just writing out some quotes that I really liked. I wanted to put 2 quotes. This one comes from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, to be specific. Hagrid said this. He said, what's coming will come and we'll meet it when it does. I thought it was a really great quote for this year. I really want to make this year all about just facing some challenges and overcoming fears that I have. And so I just thought that this was a really great way to incorporate that as a little reminder to myself. So I'm using that same pink, and then I'm just going to write in the other quote there at the top, and it's from my other favorite book series and that's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and it says, "Till this moment I never knew myself." And that is, I think, a really beautiful quote, because sometimes we read books and we realize that we learn new things about ourselves every day. So I just thought that that was a really nice quote, and each year you learn something new about yourself as well. So it's, again, there's a theme, but I really am happy with the way this page turned out. And yeah, that's it. Now we're just going to erase all the pencil marks because we need it to look clean. So here I'm just going to fill in my first book to kind of show you and give you an idea of how I would fill this in. This one's outlined in black because the book actually is like a blackish brown color, and I thought it was astute to use the first book to make it the bullet journal method by writer Carol. It's actually, I revisit this book every January, I find, and I always find something new. And it kind of brings me back to the real reason to why I bullet journal. And it's not to be pretty, but it's to be more productive and organized in my daily life. And I always sometimes forget that in the midst of the year. And then when I come back to that book, I'm like, oh, you know what, writer? You are right. So I'm just decorating it, making it a little bit better. So now we're moving on to YouTube ideas. I have a YouTube channel because you're watching it, as you know, and I decided that I needed to have a place where I can write out all of my ideas as I encounter them, because I usually keep them on my phone, but I find that I actually end up having so many lists on my phone that I forget a video idea, and then I'll come back to it. I'm like, oh yeah, I really need to record that video, and then it never gets done. So this year I'm making it a priority to kind of keep all my ideas in one place. So I used that green marker, as you saw, made a nice little cute heading, and now I'm using this same blush pink pen to make a little easy border around it. I also think another reason people kind of don't give up on bullet journaling is because they think it needs to look so pretty all the time. But honestly, I make mistakes all the time. I just use whiteout to fix it, or I don't really care. I kind of just know that I'll be the only one really seeing it, so I'm not too fussed about it. And so this next page is something I'm actually incorporating for the first time, because I saw this from Plant-Based Bride here on YouTube. I'll link her video down below. She explains it much better than I ever could. But it's called a bolt brain dump. It's called the Kanban, I forget, method of prioritizing your task. And it's kind of like a nice way to manage projects or big things that you have coming up. I'm also a student. I work a full-time job, so I'm hoping that this can be really helpful in a way. So here I'm just filling out the T, the I, and the R, and that just stands for task, idea, resource, and priority. And you kind of section off your tasks in their prospective spot, and then you have a start date, an end date, and a completion date. So you kind of have an idea of when you should start it, what's the end date, and what's your actual completion date. And then on the side there, you just see me making little borders for the to-do list, the plan stage, and the progress stage, and the implementation stage. So these are the 4 stages of the various projects that I'll be working on, or schoolwork or whatever. And so everything starts off in the to-do column, and then you move them and shift them around as you plan them, as they progress, and how you're actually going to implement them. So yeah, I'll link her video down below. Like I said, she explains it way better than I ever could. And there's my whiteout in action, fixing my mistakes. So I'm just showing you here briefly, like, the project that I'm working on right at this current moment is my bullet journal setup video. So I'm just going to color coordinate my projects based off of Post-it notes. So I'm going to use them for, like, YouTube would be blue, schoolwork will be pink, and work stuff will be like green, etc. So there I'm just writing out one of my tasks that I need to do, and I put it in it's a priority right now, and so I have a start date, end date, and a completion date. And now I'm just showing you, kind of giving you an idea of how you can use the Post-it notes. If they're too large, you can cut them down to size. Yeah, so I mean, really anything goes. Have fun. As I said, watch Plant-Based Bride's video. Her video is so much better than mine as far as explaining this goes. And yeah, moving on. So similar to the YouTube page, I decided to do a junk journal ideas page. I do sell junk journals. I did have an Etsy shop at one point, but now I mainly sell through Instagram, and it's called Twig and Magic. I'll link that down below. I haven't put any new journals out, but my goal this year is to get about 30 journals out this year. And if anybody who's not familiar with junk journal, I do have a video coming up for that. Alright, so this is a bills tracker. I thought it was funny. That quote up top that you see there is a Destiny's Child quote. Can you pay my bills? I don't know. We'll find out. So I just thought I would write something funny up there to kind of bring a little humor to it, because sometimes when you're talking about financing, it can get a little stressful. And so I just made this little chart, and it has the date, the bill description, the payment method, and the amount. And I'm going to put all of my bills in there so that I can track them to see when they're due and how much I need to pay. So yeah, I'm just filling out the header took a while, but yeah, I'm really happy with the way it came out. And so as you can see, I did mess up a little bit on the line, so I went in and I just whited it out, so I'm letting that dry right now. But yeah, so you have the date, the bill description, the payment method, and the amount. So here I'm fixing my mistakes, don't worry. And then here I filled that out. So I have my T-Mobile bill is coming out on the 1st. I have my payment method and I have the amount. For privacy reasons, I didn't put that down, but you get the gist. And then rent, and then US Bank. The next chart is my monthly tracker for them for each bill. So what I'll do is I'll mark off if I've paid them each month, each corresponding bill, so that I'm able to remember, because sometimes we'll get to the next month and I'm like, me and my husband, and I'm like, did you pay that bill? He's like, I thought you paid that bill. And then neither of us have paid this bill, and we're like, oh my God. So I thought this was a really nice way for me to kind of stay ahead of that. I've made 12 boxes, 12 rows I should say. And so now I'm just taking that same green forest green marker and I'm marking the lines. I'm not being particularly neat about this. Honestly, you don't really need to be. Do what's best for you. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out, because I was concerned that it wouldn't be enough boxes or space, but so far I've been using it. I don't think I'll have any problems in the coming months, but we shall see. If you need more boxes, honestly, I feel so bad for you. You have so many bills. Here I'm marking off the different bills that I've paid already, and just using them as I go. And there I put, can you pay my bills? And I put maybe, who knows? Because that's real life, and who knows anything anymore. But yeah, now I'm just marking off the different months. And yeah, it came out really nice. We're happy with this. I love the way that it came out. Yeah, so like I was explaining before, you have the different bills and then you mark them off each month as you need them. Moving along. Okay, so this is my financial goals sheet. So I wanted to kind of keep a reminder for myself on why I am saving, because I think sometimes it can be really hard to remember, why am I even saving? Why can't I have that latte? Why can't I have that shirt that I saw on ASOS? Like, you know, we forget sometimes going about our lives throughout the year. So I thought this was a nice reminder for when I'm tracking things. I can kind of go back and be like, oh, that's why I have not gone to Starbucks in 2 weeks, or I'm meal prepping every week and not spending money on Uber Eats because I need to stick to a budget, or I want to be step free. I have a savings buffer. So I'm kind of reminding myself of those. And then here I'm starting on my more money, no problems, which is my savings fund. And here I have the various funds I want to save for. So I've split them up into 3 columns. I have my emergency fund, my house fund, my vacation fund. Because this year we want to try to buy a house next year. We want to start saving on that, and then we want to take a lot more vacations. So we need to just kind of figure out what that looks like in regards to saving. Yeah, so it's pretty self-explanatory. You kind of have the start, what you start off with each month, and then you have your plus or minus. Like each month you kind of can calculate how much you're pulling from these funds or how much you're adding to these funds, and it's a really nice way to visually see it build throughout the year. Hopefully that's the goal. And then on the side I have 12 boxes, and then on the side I have 1 through 12 for each boxes. And then in the ending, in December of later this year, I'll tally up the total and see what the final savings was. And I think this will be a really interesting way to, I don't know what happened to my pen there. I think I lost it for a sec. But this will be a really interesting way to visually see everything in the end. And I really like this. I'm excited to use it. Yes, and I'm just filling out those boxes. Again, I'm not being neat at all. And another thing that I wanted to bring up is don't beat yourself up each month if your fund is not moving. It's okay. We're humans and we have things move month to month, so no pressure. You know, nobody's going to see your bullet journal except you, so don't be ashamed if your trackers don't move each month, but just be mindful that at least you're taking steps to do them each month. This is my invoice tracker. I sell my own bullet journals, and whenever I sold them last year, I found that I was using this app, and it was really hard to kind of visually see what clients paid, if they paid, with the date that their thing was due. And yeah, so I decided to make myself an invoice tracker so that I can keep track of all of the journals that I sell. And this may seem kind of boring, but yeah, so you have the client's name, and then you give them a reference number. You have the date of purchase, and then you have the date of invoice, and then you have the amount and if they paid. I'm really happy with the way this came out. And like I said, my goal this year is to sell a lot more journals, so I'm excited to see this fill up. And if I need it, I'll add additional pages. So the next page is similar to the first quote page. I kind of kept it in the same theme. I like this quote that I chose. It says dwell in possibility, and I'm just fitting it to the page, seeing where I want it, and then I'm going to use a marker to mark off that quote. And then here I took the same Elmer's glue and I'm gluing it down. And instead of doing the marker, I decided on washi tape because I had this pretty Happy New Year washi tape, and I really liked it. I thought it went really well with the theme. And yeah, this is the final flip through. I really like the way that it came out. Now I'm just going through and adding little touches to it, seeing if I wanted to add anything. Like I added a piece of scrapbook paper down there. And I really like the way it turned out. I'm really proud of it. I've been using it a lot. Now I'm adding stickers, just jazzing up the pages. And yeah, I thought it came out really well. I'm really happy. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, you can subscribe or don't. That's cool. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. I won't be mad. I'll be a little sad, but in the end, you know, life will go on. No, thank you guys for watching. Please comment. Tell me what's your theme for February. Okay, we're done.